one voice, please, one voice. Thank you. Want to welcome everybody. Hey, can we get one voice, please? Guys, if you want to talk, that's great. Just move away, please. Thank you. I want to welcome everybody to our 32nd annual Lake Placid Summer Lacrosse Tournament. The 31st was an amazing year. Most of you weren't here. We were here on these fields, and they were in great shape. But it's wonderful to be back. And I gotta tell you, being out here, I don't feel like there's any real problems that are going on in the world, are there? Whew.
Not from here.
So we're so grateful that we're here. So grateful we're here. So we've got a great program tonight. We're gonna recognize those legends who are.
Excuse me for wearing my sunglasses.
Sorry. We're gonna recognize those individuals who were inducted last summer. And we'll do it this year. We've got some new inductions for this year. If you can, this is a fundraiser. We're raising money for a couple of charities that Don will talk about in a second. So please, there are beer tickets available and help. Any contributions are welcome, and we'll talk to you a little bit about the charitable purposes here. I just want to welcome everybody back. It's just wonderful to be here, see so many familiar faces. And I apologize to all of you who come up to me and I can't remember your name. I'm burned out. Sorry. It's too many names. So I'm going to turn it, without any ado here, I'm going to turn it over to Don Starzia, who's been a friend of ours for many, many years here, even when he was in Virginia.
Your son scored the winning goal against us in a playoff game.
Anyway, Dom has just been a tremendous part of this event for many, many years. He himself is a legend. And he's just going to open it up. And when he's done, I'm going to introduce the legends who are here, bring them all up here, all of those legends who have been inducted before. And then we'll move right into our program of new inductees. So let me turn it over without any further ado, Dom Starzia.
Thank you very much. We let him score that goal.
Thank you.
It's been 31 years for me coming up here to Lake Placid. And with the same group of guys. We played with the same team that we played with 31 years ago. And you know, for me, it's a great joy in my life. I have a very good friend, college roommate, Mohawk, David White, who introduced me at this event a few years back and said to me that lacrosse has always been Dom's good medicine, and it has been. You know, it is such a joy in my life to come up here and spend these couple of days. You know. And I do visit with a lot of, I coached at the prep school did this past spring. I visit with a lot of different groups. I'm always talking to young players. No matter what the setting is for them, it's an opportunity that they have, you know, and generally it's a sort of an entitled opportunity. And I keep telling those people, that those young people, that with that opportunity comes the responsibility to pay it forward and to try to help somebody that needs the help. And so, since I've been involved in the Legends, talking with George and Danny, you know, we've become a little bit more of an active group, a little kind of living and breathing group. And to all the new Legends, we welcome them on board, and you're going to be hearing from me, you know, fairly regularly. We asked for some modest contributions from the members of the group, and we've made some contributions to groups to worthy causes over these past couple of years. I want to just tell you a couple. In the past few years, we've made contributions to City Lax Albany, to Harlem Lacrosse, to the Lake Placid Volunteer Fire Department, the Jimmy Fund Cancer Society, in honor of one of our teammates that we lost. I play for the Legends team, and this year we're making a donation to the Casey Powell World Lacrosse Foundation and the Iroquois National Development Group, which is an organization of indigenous youth and Who's that? Headstrong. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And actually, the Iroquois National Group, we've made a long-term commitment to. So we're gonna continue to help them over the years. It certainly seems appropriate to me, from a group like this, that's a group that we are very involved with. And finally, I'd just like to mention Pat Calalori and the Headstrong Foundation for their role here at Lake Placid and all the good that they do in the world. I'd like to give them a round of applause. So I can promise you that any money that we raise tonight is going to go to a good cause that's near and dear to all of our hearts together, and we're going to continue to try to keep that train moving. So so we can continue to pay it forward to somebody else. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dom. So if I could ask any of the legends who are here, just come on up here. Just come on up here and stand with us, please, if you got a few minutes. I want to quickly. I'm going to do a couple of shout outs of people I can see. I just want to do a quick shout out right here to two-time NCAA men's lacrosse championship coach Lars Tiffany. Congratulations, Lars, who happens to be hungry at the moment. And I know John Tills is here, so I hope he's here. I'm not sure if John Tillman is here, but I want to also congratulate John, a longtime member here, for his great success at Maryland the last couple of years. So thank you, John. Okay, I'm just going to quickly introduce.
Andy's here.
We have
Where is she?
Brent Riley. Greg Gebhardt.
Lynn Reitenbach.
Tom Pillsworth.
Andrea Lister.
I forgot my name. It's John Morgan.
Bob DiPuppo.
Bill Bergen.
Anthony Ortolano.
And Dom Starzer.
Great group of people. Thank you so much, you guys. You set the standard for us here. Thank you. So I'm now going to turn over. First of all, I want to thank very important people for us being here. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't not for our team at Summit Lacrosse Ventures. Where's Ashley, Kevin, Eric? You here? There's Ashley Gersick, our CEO, my business partner. Kevin, where's Kevin Lavelle? There's Kevin over there. Eric Whitmer, where are you? Eric's here somewhere, and I want to thank also Blake Shire, who's down in Albany preparing for tomorrow's trip down to Albany. So this crew has worked incredibly the last 2 years to try to get us back on the field. We've gone down about 10,000 different paths to find one back, and we're so happy to be back here, but we could not have done it without their work and effort. So thank you, staff. We appreciate it. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our staff member, Dan Whitmer, who's been with us for many, many years, a former coach at Oswego, SUNY Oswego. He's going to talk a little bit about the Legends program and kind of set up the inductions for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, George. And before we do that, we also want to be sure to thank our tournament sponsors, True Temper Lacrosse, the Albany Firewolves, and Sky Lacrosse. Cullen made our awards this year, did a beautiful job, and we greatly appreciate his craftsmanship. A few years ago, at the 25th anniversary, the staff recognized the Silver Anniversary men's team, the Silver Anniversary women's team, teams of distinction, and we started giving Lake Placid like special awards in addition to the Legends. And what we're finding over the years since then is that there's a little bit of confusion between, you know, is he a legend or is he just a Dan Spillett Award winner? All right, or is this team a legend team or is this team a team of distinction? So we made the executive decision to basically be inclusive, and otherwise we would never be recognizing additional people. So I'm in the process of updating our records, and at this point all the special award winners, all the members of the anniversary team, the teams of distinction, etc., we are now considering them all to be Lake Placid Legends. And in the process, these banners and photos and so on, they were never done for those people. And I'm in the process of trying to update and create these kinds of bios, fill the website with additional profiles and photos. If you're a legend and you haven't, if you're one of those award winners and you haven't heard from me in the past 6 months, I'm taking my time and doing a few a month, and I hope by this time next year to be done with that. So if you haven't heard from me, you will. If you have heard from me and you responded, thank you so much. If you heard from me and you didn't respond, I'm not giving up. All right, you'll hear from me. At this point, we'll let George kick off the first award, the Dan Spillett Award.
Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate all. I'm good. I'm good. Before we start, I just want to I want to start the moment just by recognizing some of the things we've been experiencing recently over the last couple of years. Since we've last been here, there's been loss, a lot of loss, and we all recognize that. One of the things that's important to me is that I find that when we lose folks here, I've been here 32 years, their spirit lives on. I feel like they're still here. I just didn't see them. I might not have seen them today, but they're here. They're part of this experience that we've grown over all these years. Now, I'm going to mention some names, and you can throw out some others. We lost teammate Norm Smith a couple of years ago. Wonderful guy. Our head trainer, Jimmy Case from Cornell, we lost last spring. Recently, we saw John Zilberti, unfortunately. A little earlier, Rob Kavovit, great Syracuse player. On the way up here yesterday, we lost an official in a motorcycle accident. Steve Lacrosse, correct? Yesterday. At the risk of missing names, there's so many important people. Part of this living and doing something for a very long time is there's going to be changes, and that's life. But it's not all bad. Like I said, there's a sense that they're still here because they've been here for so long and so much a part of this. That spirit will never leave, and I'm so grateful for that. But there's also good news. Good things happen. Some of you may have heard a story about our incredible media man, Casey Vach. Casey Vach, can you stand up, please, sir? This is a success story. He's still here, and we're grateful.
Harder to kill me than I thought.
But Casey, we're so happy. We're so glad to see you here, and for many, many more years, my friend. So our first award is named after a guy I banged heads with for a number of years, Dan Spillett. Great attackman. I think he began probably the first or second year the tournament was here. Struggled with cancer for many years and finally succumbed, but he played throughout. He showed incredible courage and determination for a guy going through what he did. So we've got two recipients. Can I get one voice, please? If you guys want to talk, move out. Okay? We got two incredible award winners this year. First one we'll bring up is Tim Schur. Come on up, please. Timmy Schur was the captain of the U.S. men's national team in the 2002 World Games and the high school coach. His teams have won 21 sectional championships in the past 35 years. He's played in every Lake Placid Classic since 1990. That means every Lake Placid Classic, including 2020, excuse me. And routinely participates in multiple age divisions, despite his boyish looks. His estimates have we estimate he's played for approximately 35 championship teams, including Sailing Shoe, Graftex, Old Quakers, and Long Island Lacrosse Club. Evidence of Tim's legacy here in Lake Placid, his 4 children have all played here in recent years. Wonderful guy, incredible lacrosse player, Tim Schur. You are a legend of Lake Placid lacrosse.
Thank you all very much. Obviously, I love coming here. I wouldn't be here every year. This is a highlight of so many of our summers, and I think most of the best people I've met in my life, I know one way or another through lacrosse. And it's a giving community, which is tremendous. I won't bore you. I have one story I'll share. You may think less of me after it. About 15 years ago, one of my brothers was getting married for the second time, and he told me, I said, look, the only weekend I'm not available is like August 3rd, 4th. He gets married August 3rd and 4th. I don't know. You already established that I've been here every year. Right? So I didn't make that wedding. but the marriage didn't work out. And I think we won a championship that year. Thank you very much.
Can I ask Paul Lempersky's wife Lee and daughter Alex and husband Chris come on up? Paul Lempersky was named Drexel University's 1970s All-Decade team. The 70s. Where's the shoe? And he continued to play at almost every post-collegiate level. He came to Lake Placid in 1995 to play in his first tournament in the North Country. He and his family fell in love with the Adirondacks and made it their forever home. They live here. In his book, Paul's Wild Ride, he wrote, "Lacrosse's unique environment and community. Talent and skill varies among the players, but we make the conscious choice to keep judgment out of the game. Settle into lacrosse vibe, play the game to the best of your ability, then share a few beers afterward among both teammates and opponents. A simple recipe that yields exceptional benefits and camaraderie." Not bad. Unfortunately, Paul passed away in 2018, and I'm very proud to induct Paul with his wife Lee, daughter Alex, and husband Chris as a legend of Lake Placid lacrosse.
I'll give it to you when you're done. All right. We'll give it to you.
I'm going to give it to you.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you to all of Paul's teammates and friends who came here today. I feel blessed. This is quite an honor. For Paul, lacrosse was a metaphor for life. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
You have it.
I got it. Paul first played lacrosse in high school. Haverford High was one of the first public schools in Pennsylvania to have a lacrosse program. Once he picked up the stick, he was hooked. When we met, he talked about lacrosse, a game I had never heard of. Over the years, I learned a lot about the game, such as if I wanted him to take a vacation, all I had to do was find a lacrosse tournament in a faraway place. I've been to Florida, lacrosse, Canada, Hawaii, Australia, and of course, Lake Placid, thanks to lacrosse. I admit, I loved hearing the guys talk about their exploits on the field. The older the story, the better the game. I took many photos of the team playing lacrosse. Paul would see a picture and know exactly what was happening and where the ball was. It didn't matter what order the pictures were in. Paul was told a remark Joe Paterno was quoted as saying, "If you don't remember every play you've made, then you are not having enough fun." Paul played lacrosse into his 60s, and his memory has cataloged hundreds of plays in vivid technicolor, as if they happened yesterday. Fun? Yeah, that what Joe said. Paul was like a kid when it came to lacrosse. At the end of every Lake Placid tournament, he would often look for his name among the all-stars of the tournament. Alas, although the Eagles may have been a mainstay in Lake Placid, they rarely made it into the winner's bracket. Sorry, guys. One year, he did find Lamparski. But one year, he did find the name Lamparski, but it belonged to his 15-year-old daughter, who landed on a winning team and was recognized for her efforts. There are many stories and anecdotes that I can share with you. Is Paul a legend of Lake Placid lacrosse? Maybe not in the traditional sense, but he epitomizes what lacrosse means to all those players who pick up a stick and continue to play as long as their legs will carry them. I will leave you with a quote from Paul's book. "Lacrosse is not a thing, not a game, not an event. It is a state of mind. A state of mind that lifts you from an existential place to a transcendental world of exhilarating possibilities. Pay attention to the changes in self when you play. Some changes, subtle, and other changes can be explosively transforming, but all changes are positive and beneficial." Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. The Jim Mulfelder Award was also first presented in 2004, recognized a women's division participant, someone who's been instrumental in launching women's play at Lake Placid. The 2020 recipient of the Jim Mulfelder Award is Holly Barlow Burns Healy.
Yeah, Holly.
Holly went from being New York State private high school's most outstanding female athlete of the year to a lacrosse mom of three children who all went on to earn scholarships and play college lacrosse. Around 1997, after her sons had played at Lake Placid for a number of years and her daughter was about to start playing lacrosse at Syracuse, she approached George and said quite simply, "We need a women's division." The rest is history. Today, the Summit Classic has almost as many women's teams as men's. Holly is currently a Lake Placid business owner and proud to tell us that 13 of her 14 grandchildren are lacrosse players. We're wondering about that 14. Please join me in recognizing Holly Healy as the 2020 Legend of Lake Placid.
Everyone thinks I was such a great feminist by introducing women's lacrosse to Lake Placid, but there's two stories behind this. First of all, I went to George and I said, "George, we need to get women up here to play." And he said, "Holly, we can't. We don't have any fields." I said, "I can't do it." You know, George. I said, "George, if I get you fields, can we have women?" He goes, "You get me fields and I'll get women up here." The rest is history. I got him the Bark Eater fields. The guys hated it. They played down there for years. Women had one field here, and now they're all over the place. And the second part of that is I'm just thrilled to have been here from the beginning. And the non-feminist nature of my desire to start the women's division is, with my sons here, there are so many cute boys. And I said, "God, they need cute girls." So that's my ulterior motive.
I do want to also mention that Holly referred to the Bark Eater. How many of you guys played at the Bark Eater? Yeah. I loved it down there. Well, the Bark Eater was owned by a gentleman she introduced me to, Joe Pete Wilson, who is a legend of Lake Placid lacrosse. I'm now going to turn it over to Tom Abbott, our head of. And I also want to acknowledge Tom Abbott and Mara Wager, our head officials. They do an incredible job here. And this is not easy during COVID, getting a good team of officials at our events, and they've done a fabulous job. So thank you so much.
Thanks, George. I really appreciate it, and you're right. Mara and I and Jimmy Bacco and Nancy have spent a lot of late nights trying to keep up with all the changes this year. But it is what it is, and we do it because we love it, just like everybody else does, and that's why we're here. I'm here to announce the Piatelli Award winners, so I'll start with last year's recipient. I'm going to have John Keenan walk up here, please. I first want to talk a little bit about why the award is called the Piatelli Award for lacrosse officials. The bottom line is Larry was a guy who was into friendship, sportsmanship, being a good guy, being a good teammate. And we all know that playing lacrosse is about being a team. Referees are the third team on the field, men's and women's both, and we are big time into being team. So it's important to remember that this award is about friendship and camaraderie and sportsmanship, and that's the bottom line here. So as far as John is concerned, we had the award last year all set to go. John is a referee out of the Capital District area. He was one of the first 7 officials who came here to do the first tournament. They call themselves the Magnificent Seven, but I don't think there's anything magnificent about it, but that's the way it is. But in the long run, John's been here for years and years and years and done everything that we've asked him to do. He's typical of everyone else that we have here as officials. They'll go do any game anywhere that we send them. John is semi-retired as a referee now because of an injury. But John, congratulations on the Piatelli Award. The award winners for this year are 2 guys. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Ken. You want to talk? You want to talk? Okay, you go first. Sorry. This might not be a great idea.
Sometimes you can never shut a lawyer up. So I can tell you that early on, I have to thank Skip Spenceri and John Morgan, officials from the Albany area. When George got together, and I think Mike DeRossi was involved at the time. I don't know, but they said we're going to do this tournament in Lake Placid. I'm like, really? They said, yeah, it's going to be cool. We're going to be on the same grounds where they did the opening ceremonies of the Olympics 10 years earlier. Like, that'd be cool. So we thought it was cool, and then we come around that bend and we see the ski jumps, and we know it's cool. And it's been cool ever since. Early on, you do the consolation game on Sunday morning. The game was supposed to start at 8 o'clock. The teams would show up at 8:15 and vomit at 8:17. We've come a long way since then. A lot of growing since then. You talked about bark eaters, but the Military Road School, the Keene Valley School, bark eaters, Northwood School. We started with very few. They started with very few teams, and look at what is it, like 72 levels now on 17 different organizations on 5 continents or whatever it is. George, you really should be proud of yourself, and I'm proud to have been a small cog on a small wheel in this very well-oiled machine. Very gracious, very happy to be this. I'm not a legend by any stretch of the imagination, except for longevity. When they told me I was going to get this, I figured, well, if you do something long enough, they're going to run out of other guys to give it to. So I was up, but that's just not true, because you're going to hear from 2 guys after me who really are legends of the game. They're very good officials, and I call them my friends. One of them I did a state championship with down at Hofstra. It was like 140 degrees on the field. He went home the next day and he sent me a picture of me in the game. It was a Carthage game, and we're melting. Every time out they were putting ice on us and whatever. But I looked like I was melting. I was in the background. Mike Bransky's a great guy. Spike Decker, great guy. These really are very good officials who have earned what they've got tonight. I earned mine just by longevity. I'm very small, like I said, a very small cog on a very small wheel. But I appreciate this very much. Thank you.
Obviously, our next 2 are 2 guys that I know real well. Spike Decker and Mike Bransky, come on up. These 2 guys have been around refereeing in lacrosse and other sports for a long time. Both from the Watertown area. They were teammates in high school. They played for Mike's father, Matt Bransky, at Watertown. They began officiating in 1990, or together, both, right? Advanced in the ranks of the referee world at the same pace. They've done national championships. They've done, you name it, they've done it. Spike currently refs in the PLL. And the longevity of doing this and coming here forever and being best friends and best teammates. This is the first time we've inducted 2 guys together for this. And I can't think of anything better than our Watertown brothers, but the bottom line is, in today's gender equity world, we call them the Watertown sisters. So, who's speaking first, boys?
Thank you. Need my cheaters. First off, Coach Bergen, I need to know the secret legend handshake when we're all done here today. I decided to write something up, otherwise I'd go off on tangents and be here probably for 5-10 minutes. I guess we're only allotted 2 minutes. So I'd like to start off by saying one of the differences between a player and an official, since now that my playing days are over, is that as a lacrosse official, our goal is to go unnoticed. Our mentors, the Munsies, the Abbotts, the Mercers, all here tonight, have always told us that it's a good thing to leave a game at the end of the game. The coaches and the fans have no idea who just officiated the game. That is our goal. Well, tonight, we would like our 2 minutes to be recognized, so appreciate that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to join all previous Larry Piatelli Award winners. I am humbled to belong to such a great group of individuals. I'd like to thank George and Kevin Lavelle, Coach Dan Whitmer and his family, and Tom Abbott and Jimmy Bacco, who put in a huge amount of hours preparing for the best tournament in the country, in my opinion. They're the guys behind the scenes that make this tournament the best in the country. I'd like to clarify one thing about my partner here, Spike. In case you didn't know, we're a package deal. So speaking engagements, golf, lacrosse games, we're together. The only exception is if Matty Palom needs him in the PLL. Spike, I'm proud to be inducted with you into the Lake Placid Legends. I love you like a brother. Just a little bit about my family. As Tom mentioned, my father started lacrosse in the 60s back at Watertown, and it has been a huge family affair from that point on. One of the first things I remember is driving to Cornwall, Ontario. We jumped in the Griswold wagon, and I think he had a budget of about $100, and we came back with 24 wooden sticks. And I got the pick of the first, of course, so that was always, I remember that like it was yesterday. Mark and I and my younger brother Tim, we had fierce battles in the backyard, just like I remember Casey talking about him and his brothers battling in the backyard. So I can take full credit for making my brother Mark a more complete player than I was, who's sitting right over here. So my sister Cindy was involved also. She kept score for all of Dad's games. Also had her back in a big way. I can remember one box game indoors at the fairgrounds in Watertown, New York. My brother Mark gets blindsided and decked. All of a sudden, the rink door flies open. Out comes Cindy just swinging away at whoever was in her way. So I love you guys. Thanks for coming on. I'll talk about Spike for a second since he won't talk about himself. Growing up, we didn't have youth lax or modified for that matter. All we had was JV and varsity. So him and I were managers for my father's teams. Ball boys, we did it all. So then we played together at the JV level and the varsity level, Watertown High, then against each other in college. I played at Cortland and he played at RIT, and all I know is back in that day, we never lost to RIT, so.
Careful, he speaks last.
True. We returned home to join our alma mater. Not long after that, we were recruited by an individual by the name of Joe Escudero, and he asked us to join the officiating ranks in the Watertown area. Two things I noticed this past month when we had to put our bios together, that Spike and I, very comparable in two ways. Our biographies were the same, and secondly, I noticed the amount of time that we had put in together. I am just overwhelmed at the fact that we've been at this for 32 years. It doesn't feel like it. We have a rule, we kind of have a pact that if we are doing the game a disservice, we're going to slap each other in the face and get out. So on our ride home after games in the springtime, after a couple beers somewhere, we're asking ourselves every time, what are we doing when we can't do this anymore? And last but not least, one thing my father told me, I called him from Cortland one day, and I said, Dad, I'm thinking of joining a fraternity. And he said, why, you're already in one. And this lacrosse fraternity is the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the kind words, the introduction, TA and Michael. I'm not going to get as, I can't speak like Mike can. That's very emotional. Again, I love Mike like a brother. But by the way, I just want to let everybody know, we finished up over on Field 4, and nobody called us a legend over there. They, in fact, they used many other adjectives. So I'm not sure who looks more forward to this weekend in Lake Placid more, my wife or I. I need to share with you that we came to Placid at a critical time in my career. It was the late 90s. I didn't have the big Division I schedule, and this tournament had the best players in the world. There was no MLL, there was no PLL. They were all here. The level of lacrosse was the highest I had seen at the time. And many of the best officials in the country were here too. And I wanted to be part of it. I had the pleasure of getting to know and work with Larry Piatelli my first 4 or 5 years before he was taken from us. What I remember most about Larry was that he was a level-headed gentleman, something I needed to improve on. My favorite memory in the early years was the rusty red burnt orange game on field 1 at 1 o'clock on Sunday. The fans were fortified deep around the field. Those games were so much fun, and they really fueled my desire to want more. I owe an awful lot to this tournament. It's still the best tournament in the summer. It's because of the leadership, and it starts with the Lavelle family. George, Kevin, thank you so much. Coach Whitmer, road trip, he's family, right? Sort of. I'd also like to thank John Morgan for the invite many years ago, and certainly his successor, Tom Abbott, who is the most knowledgeable, passionate lacrosse mind in the country. This award is very special to me, and I'm really happy to share it with my 2 best friends. My wife, Gwen, and my best friend, Mike Bansky. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Tom Pillsbury. Can I ask you to come up here? Where's Tom? Ready to go to the bathroom? Right behind you. Come on, TP, come on up here. This is Tom Pillsworth for the first, how many years? 20?
Since the Civil War.
Before the invention of computers.
I still don't do it.
So Tom was a great Albany lacrosse guy, very involved in the Albany Mohawk Lacrosse Club, which was founded in 1860. He wrote a book on it. 18 what?
Civil War, when did it start? I don't know. 1860.
So Tom, for the first 5+ years of our tournament, ran our staff. And he was invaluable to us in organizing the many great kids and adults that have worked for us over the years. So annually, we recognize another staff person in Tom's honor because he set the standard. So we're very fortunate tonight. Is Billy here? Billy Jakes? Yeah. Come on up, Billy. Billy was married to, right over here, Billy, right over here. Billy was married to Jeff Jakes, and Jeff, he passed away in 2019, just a few weeks after the tournament. And I got to tell you, it was one of the most, we've seen a lot of bravery up here over the years, a lot of extraordinary things, but during the 2019 tournament, this gentleman was not going to leave this place before that tournament was over. And literally a week or 2 afterwards, he left this place. But he was just an incredible model for all of us, and just a wonderful local community member for many years, being involved in Lake Placid Youth Association, a very long member of the volunteer fire department, just a great community individual, an all-around talented individual, and a wonderful human being. But we lost him. So we're going to recognize him tonight for all he brought to our event, all he brought to this community, and his wife, Billy, is here to accept his Legend of Lake Placid Lacrosse.
The Travis Solomon Award was first presented in 2010, presented in memory of a player participant who's demonstrated not only great skills but also a traditional, respectful approach for the game. In 2020, we selected 2 winners for this award, Dave Brandt and Mark Burnham.
Let's hear it. I just want to quickly say a word, because I had the incredible good fortune to be a teammate of Travis's for several years. It was an extraordinary experience. Come on over here, Joey. This is Joey Solomon, Travis's younger brother, who's here on behalf of Travis. But I remember in 1986, Albany celebrated its tricentennial, 300 years as a city. And we created an exhibition game against the Iroquois Nationals. Mohawk Lacrosse Club played the Iroquois Nationals in Albany. Great game. We only lost by about 26. But became determined to go back. So the next couple of years, we started meeting with them at the Iroquois Festival out in Cobleskill, which is, we used to be every late, like September, Labor Day weekend or something. I'll never forget, Kenny Fournier hit me with a pass, and I scored on Travis. I'm like, wow, I scored on Travis Solomon. So later on, I found out he was just really scared and got out of the way. He told me. But when Travis passed, and he was a victim of ALS, Joey wrote a note to me from Travis that to this day I read it, and it just meant so much to me. And it's just so, we're just blessed that we're here. Just think about Travis and Joe and all they brought to the game. I just wanted to throw that in there as my personal experience. Thank you.
Thanks, George. Dave Brandt was a JUCO All-American at Hudson Valley and a two-time first-team All-League midfielder at Hartwick. He played in the first Lake Placid Classic in 1990 for the Mohawk Lacrosse Club and hasn't missed a Classic since. He's played for the Newts, Adirondack, Beffs, Bark Eaters, Cloud Splitter, and the Faber Lacrosse Club. Dave has also spent the past 15-plus years coaching youth lacrosse for the Albany North Colony Capitals. He'd like to dedicate his Legends induction to the many teammates and friends he's known over the past 30 years. Please join me in congratulating Dave Brandt as a 2020 recipient of the Travis Solomon.
Geez, I'm glad I didn't go last. The crowd's starting to thin out here, but at least Connecticut Valley will still be around here. So thanks for sticking around, guys. But yeah, I was here in 1990, the first tournament. My friend Russ Hilton, Tommy Mahar was out there. We spent the weekend in a tent with my soon-to-be wife. She had a great time that weekend. It poured rain the whole time, and Russell and Tommy came home drunk every night. So it was a great time. But this has always been a family affair for us. My four boys have always been up with me. My wife Carrie, Russell's family, everybody else's family, all the guys who were out here. We'd all show up here in August. We'd bring all our kids together, and the sidelines would be just crowded with small kids playing lacrosse and watching their dad play. So I just want to thank George, obviously, and Kevin. George and I played actually together in Summer League back in Albany. We were teammates. Kenny Fournier as well, believe it or not. Brett Bradley, if you guys know Brett and I were teammates at Hudson Valley. We did a lot of stuff with the Iroquois back in the day. A lot of stories about parties in the parking lot way back then. Some good times. So I just want to, again, thank my family for everything and all you guys out here supporting me. So thank you very much.
Our second recipient is Mark Burnham. Mark was the most outstanding player in the 1980 New York State Championship when Henninger knocked off Yorktown, first upstate team to win a state championship. Mark then went on to play for Syracuse University for their first national championship in 1983. He played professionally in the NLL, and from 1990 through 2006, was a member and captain of 5 Iroquois Nationals teams in the FIL World Championships. Since then, he's coached both the men's and the U19 Iroquois teams. Here at Lake Placid, he lists the following teams he's played for: Sail and Shoe, Statesman, Skull Bandits, Iroquois, Raymore and Flanagan, Graftex, Ultra Legends, and I don't know, I thought this was more than a little ironic, Burnt Orange and Rusty Red. Congratulations to the second of our 2020 Travis Solomon Award winners, Mark Burnham.
Yeah, just it chokes me up a little bit to think about this award and following up with Travis, and I brought this Woody along that was made in Akwesasne, and I think one of our great stick makers now, Elfie Jocks, has explained it best. This stick comes from Mother Earth, and when you pick up the stick and you play with it, it ingrains something into you, and as well as the cat gut that's in it, it comes from the animals, and the stick comes from the tree, and that's based on what we do as lacrosse players. And Trav was excuse me. You know, George spoke of the people that have gone on to the afterworld, and that hit me hard. Thinking about one of my best friends. And I'm gonna tell a funny story about this now. Don't pull your pants down, George.
Trying to distract him.
No, Trav.
Be short though, right?
I know I have 2 minutes. I'm gonna hurry up, guys. I'm sorry. I just thought about him and what when he first was getting sick with the ALS disease, and he was up here at Placid, and you know, we came every year. We tried to be here as much as possible. And Trav said that he got hit with a ball in the eye, and that's when we first noticed that he was having difficulty seeing. Correct, Joe? And you know, it went on from there. But I was fortunate enough to be a teammate with him at SU and in the national championship team, and then on, you know, a few of the world games I played in. And you know, the guy was very special. And as you know, if you played with him or against him, he could get under your skin. When you were getting ready to shoot, he would be yelling fast break, and the Hopkins guys loved that. And you know, they paid us back a year later, unfortunately. But one of my favorite stories with Trav, I was the best man in his wedding, all three of them. And on the very last one, I told him, if this doesn't work out, 3 strikes, you're out, buddy. And I can't do it any longer. And I felt unfortunate. You know, he did pass away after that. And when he knelt down on the 3rd time at the altar, on the bottom of his shoes, I put "Save Me." And he kept saying, "Did my pants split? Or what's going on with my pants? And what's going on?" And everyone's laughing. I said, "Trev, I don't know, but there's something going on behind us, and don't worry about it." He goes, "Is this a jinx?" I said, "No, you're good, man." So he ended up staying with his wife, obviously, and she was a girl from Akwesasne. But you know, there's 2 times during the year that people get together and really cherish this Creator's game. And they say it's for medicinal purposes and in medicine, and we believe that, you know, strongly. As you know, if you look around here, the people that you've met and this game has touched, it's a healing process. And just like me speaking for Trav in his honor, and obviously Dave, this is a special award. And if there was no other award to, you know, for me to receive, it would be none other than being around with that guy's name associated to it. He was a great player, a great person. And the medicine game is a healing game, and hopefully for the people that we just lost, that healing process will help you. And like they say, obviously, there's 2 times in the year, I think Orange Alliance made this statement, that the indigenous people get really excited. One is in the fall for the hunt, and then the other is the spring for lacrosse. And I'm just proud to be a recipient of this, and all the people beforehand and soon to be later. And the Travis Solomon Award is unbelievable to me, and thank you all for being here.
Let's get a photo of you guys. Put together a photo. Let's get a photo with Joey in the middle. I'll be the meat.
Not anymore, Joe.
By the way, who's that skinny guy in there?
Yeah.
We'll do more out there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. That was awesome. So we're almost, getting to the end of the ceremony here. Our next award is our Paul Rose Award. And many of you know Rosie. How many guys here knew Rosie? Rosie was a great organizer, great guy, great organizer. And he was here, I think, year 1, and helped to organize the Legends and many other groups that came here. And so we like to look at other people. We know how many of you guys organize teams here? Anybody organize a team? What a great job that is, huh? Whoa! It's almost as much fun as running a tournament. Excuse me. Anyway, these individuals make the experience available to a lot of other people through their hard work, dedication, communication, and all the headaches they have to deal with trying to do it. And this year we've got a great recipient who's been here for many, many years, Jeff Colson. Jeff, come on up. Jeff played lacrosse at Ohio Wesleyan University, and OWU's been a great presence here for many, many years, thanks to Jeff and Steve Corrigan and others. He started coaching both boys and girls teams at all levels after he graduated. He started the Catamount Lacrosse Club in 1990, great year, and started bringing his teams to Lake Placid in 94. His loyalty to the Classic has been easy to see. There's been years when he has brought as many as 12 different teams to our fields. He's also walked the walk here at Lake playing for the Bark Eaters, Cloud Splitters, OWU Legends. He's also a member of both the Western Massachusetts Hall of Fame and Ohio Wesleyan Hall of Fame. On top of all of that, he's just a really great guy. Jeff Colson.
So I'm sure Kevin he did tell me I get 2 minutes. For each year I've been coming here, so I hope you're not going anywhere for the next 54 minutes, okay? I'm going to just tell a quick story because it sort of relates to what Mark said, how this is a healing event and the game is a healing game. In 2005, I came up here, I brought a men's team up here, and my goalie was a high school player. And that, in 2005, was only 1 year, we won the championship. And we went on to, Calvin went on, and in 2014, I get this call. Jeff, it's Calvin. And I said, Calvin, where are you? I thought you were over in Afghanistan. He said, no, I'm in Walter Reed. He was a medic. He stepped on an IED going after 3 of his buddies, and he lost his left leg. He said, I'm going to play in Lake Placid again. A year later, I'm standing on the sideline, and Calvin's in the goal for an Army team. And he comes running out of the goal, and you could see all the guys chasing him down the field going, should I hit this guy? No, I don't know. And I'm standing next to his dad, and I said, how's Calvin doing? What's he up to? He said, well, Jeff, 2 things. He said, playing in Lake Placid was his inspiration. Getting back here was what helped him get through all his rehab. That and his sense of humor. And I said, well, his sense of humor? He said, yeah, when he came out of surgery and he's lying in his bed and he knew he'd lost his leg and all his Army buddies are standing around, he looked up and he said, guys, it's okay. It'll be okay. And you can sit down. There's plenty of leg room. Okay? And I saw this humor when he and I were coaching down in Maryland, because he's driving around his truck. It's 105 degrees. And I said, Calvin, for God's sake, just park in the handicap spot. It's right next to the field. And he looks over at me and he goes, okay, you're old. But the great thing is Calvin's going to be with me coaching the men's team down in Albany this weekend, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you. Thank you, George. That's why he never let me play on his team.
You should do them out after too. Thank you very much.
You all done?
No, we'll do it out there too with the background.
Our second recipient of the 2020 Paul Rose Award is the Connecticut Valley Lacrosse Club, the CVLC. And instead of reading the introduction that I had prepared, Bob Young told me, just give me the mic, I'll take it from there. So, Bob Young.
Well, thank you. And there are 4 of us that were here in 1990, the original 7-team tournament. And so it's Tom Bianco, Barry Morin, Kevin McHugh. All famous names. So we'll apologize to the referees in advance. So thanks for putting up with us. That's right, 1990. So first of all, we're humbled and very honored to receive this recognition today after all the years. So thank you to the Lavells, George, Kevin, and I think this guy does the most work I've ever seen. So how about a big round of applause for Dan here?
So thank you. So you all, and I got a big shout out to CVLC Nation in the back here.
Tambourine. Do the tambourine. Do the tambourine.
Yeah. So let me, I have a few prepared remarks. I got here, this is the board of directors, so if they swap me, you'll know I missed something. So I guess a note, since 1990, I don't know how many people were here in 1990. There weren't, I don't remember that many fans and families at that time,
So
right?
at least 40 or 50 people.
Okay, yeah. Well, my favorite one is the and I don't know who they were. Maybe it was you, George. The guys, there was a table over there was no horseshoe grounds. There was none of this, right? That was it. It was 10 years after the Olympics, right? So all there was the big field, and the torch, I think, was a little more prominent back then. But anyway, there was, I believe, tables, or somebody collected our money or sign in, and then they put on some kind of shirt and went out and refereed the game. And that's where it all went downhill, I think. So
refereeing went downhill.
Yeah. So a little history. CVLC was founded in 1956. Neville Smith, National Hall of Famer, Norm's dad, was one of the gentlemen that started it way back when. And then over the years, it's been many good lacrosse players have run it, including Kevin McHugh, Tom Bianco, who are still doing it, or I think they tried to give it up, but they're still doing it. And then Rob Peterson here up in front, who's kept it going for the last 20-something years, right? So big round of applause for them. So since, over the last, I don't know how many years, 20? Over 20, 23 years since, and that doesn't count, there were some missing years in there somewhere, I don't know, but since 1990. But again, it's really expanded. So the folks you've seen behind us and many more who couldn't be with us today or this evening have been coming for those 20-something years, right? So it's spawned. The picture on our poster we felt represented the CVLC culture the best. A lot of those little kids have all played in this tournament, or some of my kids have worked at the tournament. So it's now a annual event for vacations, families, which I don't think it was like that in 1990, but it's really come a long way. So we cherish it very much. Weddings, right? One of the folks here, children got married here as well. So it's just a destination that we love, and went through a lot of pain like everyone last year missing it. So we are, again, truly honored to accept this award, and we'd like to dedicate it to some folks, some of the team members who played with CVLC up here over the years. Famous names all, Kenny Picturesque, Charlie Hartigan, who we honored recently, and Norm Smith. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's that point of the program. There's nothing left to say, but I'm here to talk about it. So I think we're pretty much done for this evening. I do want to acknowledge, somebody mentioned it earlier, that I founded this tournament with my good buddy Mike DeRossi. He's like my brother from a different mother. And Mike says hello to all you guys. He was our vendor for many, many years. I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. This is a very healing thing to be here with all of you and to celebrate the many people, great people that have been here for so many years. So I thank you all for coming. Please support our charities if you can. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe, and I can't wait to see you all next year. Thank you.